What's the hubbub? We debate DCU Gunn versus DCEU SnyderVerse and tackle news and updates primarily here on the Hubbub. Let's jump into some reactions and rebuttals. It's time to make like a gun and shoot this down from Aaron Fisher, who is talking badly about lanterns. He runs a Restore the SnyderVerse channel, so it's par for the course, just like his YouTube thumbnails are always proclaiming the end of the DCU and restoration of the SnyderVerse has happened, but it's incredibly strange reasoning by him nonetheless here. By the way, we are running into years of this now, Aaron. You keep screaming fire. If it really happened when you said it did, you wouldn't need to keep redoing the same thumbnails over and over, mate. How many decades are you going to cope over the SnyderVerse this hard? Although your thumbnails don't look like harsh critics where you'd swear a second grader did them at least.
I have no problem having Jon Stewart in this, but you got to have Hal Jordan too. Hal Jordan has always been the main face of Green Lanterns, of the Green Lantern Corps. And, everybody come out and say, well, he's died many times in the comics. They've done this. I don't care. We have not gotten anything with Hal Jordan. And this right here is going to show you they're going to kill him off. I guarantee it. They're going to kill him off. They're going to kill him off so that you can have just Jon Stewart.
Aaron, you praised the Zack Snyder version of Green Lantern. Was he using Hal Jordan? Nope. His version was going to be Jon Stewart. You're okay with that, though? Hypocrite much? Oh, buddy, the main difference is the James Gunn DCU version doesn't look like an Applebee's waiter. Sorry, Wayne T, but there's no way you'll convince me Aaron Pierre isn't a better actor that also looks the part more. Then there's harsh critics who is on a bizarre mission to discuss how masculine and brooding the SnyderVerse is.
So Zack Snyder made Henry Cavill popular. That's why people want Henry Cavill. I mean, just Henry Cavill's physique, his attitude, even him brooding.
You Snyder fluffers are obsessed to a worrisome delusional degree. Seek help. Now for a little parody fun. He didn't say the following as it's a harsh critics parody. I'm referring to this parody moment as Temu critics. He cares more about his Temu purchases for his audience than making plausible, coherent points.
While it's empty, no James Gunn talk, no channel, no views, and no subscribers. Let's just jump into the video. So, well, you guys, there are more DCU movies coming out. They just keep missing the sexiness by leaving Cavill out. We need him shirtless with masculine chest hair and sweat, lots of sweat. Cornball may be younger, taller, Joliard trained, and sport more hair. But face the facts, you just don't want him holding you as tight as you would with Henry the Goat Cavill. I even let my sexy lady use a cutout picture of his face as a mask for our special time. You guys, the public rejected Gunn's Superman. It did in the 600 millions range just like Man of Steel, but it was missing Cavill chest hair. The public wants that. Paramount just needs to bring back the SnyderVerse. They can save money on the costumes and just keep Henry Cavill shirtless and masculine. We don't care about Lois Lane either. Men who like seeing Rachel Brosnahan in skirts are just missing out where their eyes should truly be. We need more coverage of Cavill's pecs, please. Maybe some slow motion wet shirt moments could work. So what do you guys think? I gotta run. There's a Temu office trinket on sale I need to buy.
He sports the least charismatic delivery of about any YouTuber I've ever seen, to be blunt. Yes, that's how extreme the Snyder Bros fluffer grifters are getting. They are such a hypocritical bunch. I mean, look at how they pretend Gunn's Superman movie isn't a solo film, while David is like 80 or 90% of screen time as Clark Kent and Superman. Yet they have no complaints about Spider-Man movies, which I love, by the way, but you could argue are larger in ensemble scope. They don't go on about those movies being Avengers rather than solo Spider-Man films. The Tom Holland era of Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe often feels more like an Avengers extension than true solo films because Peter's story is constantly shaped by other major heroes and large-scale conflicts. In Spider-Man Homecoming, Tony Stark mentors him and drives much of the plot, while Spider-Man Far From Home centers on Stark's legacy and features Nick Fury recruiting Peter for a global mission. By Spider-Man No Way Home, the story becomes a full ensemble with Doctor Strange and multiple legacy characters. including other Spider-Men played by Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Because of these crossovers, shared screen time, and world-level stakes, the trilogy prioritizes interconnected storytelling over a contained, street-level Spider-Man narrative. Let's not forget as well the Batman vs. Superman movie to rush Batman for a cash grab. I've also got some news and updates on the way later in this video that you'll want to stick around for. Don't miss out on the Hubbub DC headlines. As some of you know, I'm not a slop channel like Snyder Bros, such as harsh critics that just pop a webcam on and go unedited and unplanned babbling and rambling without focus or nuance. You know harsh critics, the guy who insults the looks of actors and actresses while worrying more about his Temu office decorations more than making valid points. He steals Tyrone Magnus' video ideas, and without even 10% of Tyrone's charisma making it a downgrade. To be a harsh critic myself, your personality sucks, mate, which is why Mr. Phenom, who I disagree with, is better thus far in my experience as of now, and has more potential at life than you do harsh critics. I said what I said. Anyways, I try to edit a viewing experience for all things DC with some civil debate flair between the DCU Gunverse and the DCEU SnyderVerse on my content. Thanks to all the regular subscribers here, by the way, and if you aren't subscribed, please do so and tap the notification bell. You'll be kept in the loop for all my latest videos on the Hubbub. Even for a smaller channel, we've got a fun and diverse community here where you are free to share opinions. It is better open discussion without edgelord channel owners trying to silence opinions. This is a place where we can nerd out and counter the agenda rage baiters from the Restore SnyderVerse bros. They can't stop us from those opinions here. It tends to be that pro-DCU channels are typically less volatile than them. Shout out to Slav, who I keep in contact with outside of YouTube, as we discuss the Snyder copium and life at times. He runs a rather civil channel and has a new book on Amazon called The Snyder Effect. I've always said the Snyder Bro fandom could use case studies on their behavior, and this is a good start. The Snyder Effect explores the rise and fall of the DCEU from Man of Steel in 2013 through the collapse of the universe in 2022. Along the way, it examines the creative decisions, corporate upheaval, fan campaigns, and internet culture that shaped the era. By the way of the SnyderVerse channels out there, let me actually give Mr. Phenom a regular shout-out. Why? Because of the many thin-skinned Snyder Bro channels that are afraid to debate and allow other opinions, Mr. Phenom typically lets discussion happen on his channel, which is something I believe in. I let a wide range of opinions through on my channel. So if seeing my video brings you over to his, let him know the Hubbub sent you. Just please don't cuss and throw tantrums if you visit. We aren't like that Hubbub, homies. That's the behavior of the Snyder Bro slop channels. Yes, and we know some of those channels are so cowardly they even use burners to insult people. Aaron Fisher or harsh critics, just man up to speak for yourselves. If you want to be toxic, hey, at least say it through your own words. When it's been channel-to-channel reactions, it's fine, but I don't need to see the same handful of fake usernames popping into every DCU-related video spouting toxic nonsense. Grow up. We do civil debate on the Hubbub. Mr. Phenom allows more discussion than some of his partners in the Restore SnyderVerse channel Mills World. I'll give him that. Although he does knowingly share a lot of faked Snyder and Gunn DC-related cosmic book or cosmic crook news, I call it, which is pretty much Matt McGloin or McGroin, I jest, on a bong saying insiders told me Zack Snyder is back with Saudi backing. I think cross-channel interaction can be entertaining for viewers, but it's not a grift for me. I'm calling out misinformation as I see it and debunking when the Snyder Bros try rumors over facts to manipulate. Oh, and just because harsh critic says I'm paid to run a distraction channel against anti-DCU fandom channels due to my marketing job history with DC, that doesn't make it true. My career with DC marketing contracts doesn't factor. I'm not advertising or buying subscribers. I'm not seeking individual fame. I'm just giving my unfiltered perspective. Yes, there are even things DC would not approve of that I say or criticize, so I don't do this as a public figure. I'm giving the Hubbub takes without shilling. Mr. Phenom and I both have organic channels. He has been at it about 10 years, and I've been making regular videos for about a year. His most recent content is all Gunn versus Snyder, so we're in a similar niche audience, just on opposite sides. To my Hubbub homies, I think it's great to give your views over there as well. Just don't go the Snyder bro toxic way of personal attacks. We are substance-based in our community. They just seem to be on a substance in the toxic edgelord restore groupthink communities. Maybe they drink to cope with no DC movies on the way? Savvy. For new subscribers, welcome aboard. Whether you are pro-Gunn or pro-Snyder, as long as it's civil without channel of user attacks, yes, you're welcome here. Now let's get to the updates. James Gunn recently clarified where Clayface stands in the timeline of the DCU. He said, quote, "It's the first DCU film out of chronological order," end quote. Gunn also liked a post stating, "So I'm guessing it's highly likely this is the same Clayface from Creature Commandos." James Gunn also said, quote, "Since the release of the Clayface trailer, people have asked me, how is that going to work? One universe, different feels and genres." My answer is just like in the comics where different creative voices and visions inspire each project. Each story has purpose within itself, outside of all others. But another part of the fun can be when seemingly disparate strands come together in an elegant way, end quote. The one-tone Snyder Bros minds don't get this or much logic in general. Some dark and gritty can fit, but we don't want only one thing all the time. Some comics are more serious, some are more fantastical, some are lighter, some are darker. We want variety. The SnyderVerse wanted to be dark all the time, living in an everlasting eclipse. No thank you. On some Man of Tomorrow news, stunts for Man of Tomorrow are currently being filmed at Atlanta prison. Fan suggests it's an escape sequence. I'm not totally sure myself, as it's possible Lex is getting a release for working with Superman to isolate the threat of Brainiac. I'm intrigued, though, with the prison sequences, as it does harken back to All-Star Superman. In All-Star Superman, Lex Luthor spends his time on death row, still acting like he's in control, manipulating events, plotting revenge, and insisting that Superman is holding humanity back. Even at the moment of his execution, he briefly gains superintelligence, realizes Superman's perspective and the good he could have done, but ultimately falls back into arrogance and ego. The chess scenes between Luthor and Superman are less about the game itself and more about symbolism. Luthor treats chess as proof of his intellectual superiority, obsessing over strategy and domination, while Superman plays calmly and intuitively, often letting Luthor talk himself into revealing his own mindset. Their matches reflect their larger conflict. Luthor sees everything as a competition to win, whereas Superman isn't trying to beat him so much as understand and, in a way, save him. He believes everyone is redeemable somehow. It's what makes Superman tick. Honestly, I can't even see the Zack Snyder characterization of Superman being able to pull that off. Whether you liked the 2025 Superman or not, just set aside some truth here. He acted like Superman should. It wasn't a Batman motif in a Superman costume. That's also going to make it interesting. When Gunn's version of Batman squares off with Superman, they actually can highlight the light versus dark. There's true contrast of them in the DCU. In some other news, Paramount's deal to swallow WBD clinched in February after Netflix declined to up its offer, but is still pending regulatory approvals by the Justice Department and European entities. It's not known whether regulators will seek to impose certain conditions on the merger. Meanwhile, several state attorneys general have been mulling over taking legal action to block the deal. Specific to James Gunn, all the reports prior to the buyout had stated favorably he'd be left in charge of the DCU and it will continue. Aside from that, in a larger scope, the opposition to the merger stems from fears of media monopoly, massive job losses for creatives, and reduced content variety. Over 3,000 Hollywood professionals signed letters opposing the deal, citing reduced pitching opportunities and higher consumer costs. Concerns also exist regarding decreased quality and potential anti-competitive control. The Paramount-Warner Brothers merger isn't a done deal, Senator Elizabeth Warren, who has staunchly opposed the pact, said in a statement after the shareholder vote. State attorneys general across the country are stepping up to stop this antitrust disaster, We need to keep up this fight. Again, it's still funny how the Snyder Cope Bros went from a restore on Netflix campaign to relying on the Middle East to sweep in. Somehow the copium is that the Saudis will force Paramount to rethink their existing plan of letting Gunn and his DCU to continue in favor of bringing back Zack Snyder, who has more cancellations than network TV, trying out its next comedy show. Yes, the Middle East and India and all their bots are behind the movement. Good luck with that. Meanwhile, the USA domestically crowned Gunn's Superman at the top of all domestically performing Superman movies. Eat that. So there are the updates, and that was today's Hubbub. As always, no SnyderVerse, no problem. Wallets open to the ActiveVerse with movies. The Gunn DCU is thriving. Look up, not back, and keep your eyes to the skies as Superman flies.